skill in the students, in the candidates, which we are missing in the modern education. Next is what I feel, this document talk about reduction in curriculum, which I feel is very good topic and what's a very good aspect of this policy, because I found the student of first standard or sixth standard is carrying a bag load of 15 kg or 20 kg in a day. That is, very tiring for him, because even if we have to carry 15 kg bag every day, I think it is more tiring and more effort is wasted in picking and dropping back from home to school and school to home back. So I think this reduction in curriculum is very useful, because it will be targeting four areas: core essential, that means curriculum in all subjects to be reduced to its core essential. Although it is going to be very difficult, because the selection which has to be included in the syllabus or curriculum, what particular concept they have to drop, it is going to be very tough, very challenging as well. Second is critical thinking. This focus on critical thinking, inquiry, discovery, discussion, and analysis based teaching and learning methods for holistic education, which I feel is going to play a very important role in framing curriculum for the classes now. Interactive classes, although everyone is having smart classroom, but what I mean, interactive teaching and classroom will help to develop the personality of the kids, because nowadays the students are coming, or the people are coming with the degrees, but they are not having a presentable skills, they are not even able to present themselves in the interview room. Experiential learning, as I said, the document is trying to collaborate or trying to come up with the experiential learning, where the child, whatever he is doing in the classroom, if he is going to apply that in the workshop, that is the best part of this document. I would like to say one important aspect which I find this NEP or National Education Policy has talked in a very detailed manner. That means they will be targeting or focusing on empowering of teachers, which is very essential. Otherwise, what I will say, it will be another failure, just like CCE, which we all know that CC failed because of training of the faculty. The I will say the CBSE or our national curriculum framework designed it well, but they failed to execute, because the teachers were not trained well in the beginning. They tried to train them when the policy was implemented and executed. So one big failure was the teachers were not trained, teachers were not competent, teachers were not capable to handle the various aspects of CCE. So this is all from my side. Thank you. Thanks for your opportunity and providing this platform to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Puneet sir, for sharing these valuable thoughts. You shared almost all the important elements from national education policy. You explained them. You began by sharing how NEP is emphasizing upon, inculcating values among our learners. And then you shared your assessment that skills are completely missing from our current educational setup. This NEP is making a strong attempt in, integrating that, which Srivastava sir also mentioned. You also talked about that flexibility in choosing subjects would create a great impact, but it would also create a lot of confusion, which this absolutely, I agree with you. A lot of people have also shared same agreement that it would create a lot of confusion at that higher education level. You also talked about the reduction in curriculum is a laudable effort, and it would impact in four different parts. So this is very good. You also talked about those 21st century skills, be it critical thinking, experiential learning, and how they are going to create an impact. And then in the end, you shared the example of CC, and it got failed due to poor training. So we need to be cautious enough. We need to be, careful enough that we must provide a desired number of trainings to our teachers, to our trainers, so that this does not match with the fate of CCE. So big thanks, Puneet sir, for sharing these wonderful ideas. I would come back to you with questions. Yes, yes, Srivastava sir, please, Pramod sir.
Just patriotism, which madam was talking about. I was traveling from place A to place B, and my co-passenger, he was looking at me again and again. Finally, he said, I am so and so. I told him, I am also so and so. He said, you don't know me. I said, no, I don't know you. He said, I work in film. I say, I have participated in Kargil. I have been in Sri Lanka. I have been in USA supporting my Indian Air Force. Do you know me? He said, I don't watch those news. I said, similarly, I also don't see films. What is your contribution towards nation? He just kept quiet. Working in film is a profession. But what is the contribution? So I asked all the students, I said, just think of, you must contribute something towards your nation. You are meant for this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are some many initiatives. In fact, at this platform, I would like to share that example. China has taken a huge leap, towards that direction. There are a lot of projects in China. They are sending their kids to US or developed countries to learn about technology, to learn about different aspects of, and they are bringing them back, empowering them, and to giving them a chance to lead those projects. There are many projects on artificial intelligence, IT, on language, on manufacturing. There are many projects which are being led by such people who had gone to US to learn those things and now have come back to China to lead those projects. So, I don't find any kind of discussion at Indian, I would say government level. Narayan Murthy ji, I would say 7-8 years back, gave this thought that we must prepare at least 100 students every year. We must send them to developed countries to learn things. And then, after 10 years or something, we must invite them back to lead such kind of projects. So, contribution to nation, absolutely, I agree with you, sir, can happen in multiple ways. But absolutely, we need to inculcate that kind of feeling among our learners that we have to find our respective domain. We must define our respective. I may choose anything. I may choose courses. I may choose anything in my life. But with that mindset that I have to serve the nation, I have to create some value for the country. So that is completely missing, from the scenario. So we all agree with you, sir. So big thanks, all of you, Pramod sir, Rajkumar sir, Sunita ma'am, Puneet sir, for participating and sharing our wonderful ideas. With this, we come to the last part of the session, which is the question part. We have already received many questions. I would also ask our participant, if you have any question, you can write in the chat box. I would also present those questions to our key speakers. So before I start presenting these questions to our key speakers, I just take a minute. I would like to share my screen. Just would like to share what exactly we have been doing at School Lalaji Solutions. So I'll share my screen for a minute here, and then we'll go to that question part. Some of you are already aware with School Lalaji Solutions, we are India's largest one-stop solution platform for educational institutions. We are present in 42 cities, working with around 4,500 institutions. We help educational institutions in 3 ways. We help them in buying right thing from right people at right price. We also help them in selling their old stuff, like their old buses, generators, furniture, to many other institutions who may need that. We also help institutions in raising money, that may be in terms of loans or fee financing. Why any educational institution would need a platform like School Lalaji? You already have your old suppliers, your team is expert, you're getting good discount, at least you believe that. You have your efficient team. So why you need a platform like School Lalaji Solutions? There are 2 main reasons. In our educational ecosystem, we have more than 10,000 educational suppliers. Every year, so many good companies are coming into education. They have wonderful products, they have wonderful services. But the one difficult challenge for both of you, for both sides, like school leaders and for those companies, is how to reach out to each other, how to identify those right companies, like which should be your ERP partner, which should be your smart class partner, which should be your content partner, which should be your, like, those companies are not able to reach out to you. And this applies to you as well. You have a very limited bandwidth. You have so many things to take care of. So here we come into picture. We understand your school, your taste, your actual requirement, your budgetary limitation, and we have category experts who interact with those companies on daily basis. We also talk to their previous clients to certify their credibility. And accordingly, after doing the negotiation, and we raise bulk orders with them, so we have higher, I would say, chances to get a better deal. So after doing that negotiation, we recommend right set of options to you, and then these are different areas where we are helping educational institutions, smart classroom procurement, uniform, insurance, diesel supply. Yes, in some Gurgaon, Faridabad, some part of Delhi NCR, we are delivering diesel at the doorstep of the school, 0 rupee transportation cost. Solar plant we are installing in educational institutions, language labs, security solutions, furniture, recruitment, music classrooms, healthcare, robotics, STEM team labs, career counseling, stationery, digital marketing, IT solutions, educational door, generators, learning tools, and finance. And we take the guarantee that will save your at least 5 to 7% of your annual expenditure. It is a guaranteed saving. So that's kind of a 5% additional revenue generation. Just one example, in 2019, we saved 2 crore 40 lakh rupees, in one category only, that's bus insurance. We are perhaps India's largest school bus insurance partner. So major highlights, we did 8 megawatt plus solar installation, 3000 plus bus insurance, 400 plus smart classroom, 2000 plus cameras, 350 plus training program, 56 old buses, and we installed uniform in 42 schools. By the end of 2021, we aim to reach out to 10,000 institutions. We need your support, your guidance, your blessings. So big thanks for being a patient listener. And now I would, yes, promoter.
Can you please send this on email address also? My email address?
Sure, I'll do that, sir. I'll do that.
Okay, because I will circulate it here in all the universities.
Sure, I'll do that, sir. I'll do that.
Thank you.
And now with this, we come to the last part of the session, which is the question part. I would request Pramod sir, if I may present the first question to you.
Yeah.
So this question, I should choose this. Yeah. This has come from Mr. Sham Kaur, Miss Sham Kaur. Sham Kaur ji is a PGT English and examination in charge with Sadhguru Pratap Singh Academy, Ludhiana. The question, I'm also posting the question in the chat box. Whether in education system there will be more practicals rather than theory.
More practicals and theory. See, both are important. First, you have to learn theory, and the application part is the practicals. And in my opinion, the present curriculum, I think it is sufficient to cater the importance of both practical and theory. So I think though there is no need to change it, because if you need practicals, then you have to have a more infrastructure. And then you have a big class strength. So you can't have so many instruments for so many boys and girls. So whatever is what I know about it, that practicals, practical labs and all are almost sufficient, especially in the private schools I have seen. Few of the private schools, I will not say all, but I have seen few of the private schools, they have got a very beautiful labs, and they are giving a lot of opportunities to children to go and visit lab. And it is up to the individual also. See, they get so many periods free. If they are really interested, they can go to the lab and do the practicals. But I don't think any change is required in this.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. I'll come back to you. And now I would request Rajkumar sir. Sir, if we have your presence, may I present the next question to you? Rajkumar sir, do we have your presence? Yeah. Sir, this question has come from Mr. Jaipal, Mr. Jaipal Suthar. Jaipal ji is a TGT with SPS International School, Sirsa. The question says how it will be helpful for below average learners. Is the infrastructure ready to apply this national education policy at the ground level? Rajkumar sir, do we have your presence? I believe we have lost the connection with him. He was.
Sir, I have joined.
Yes, sir, please. So, should I repeat the question?
Yes, please. What is the question?
Sir, I have posted the question in the chat box. how this national education policy will be helpful for below average learners? Is the infrastructure ready?
Yes, of course, because the more emphasis is on skill based, and the students, they will be curious about study, and they will score very good, and they will feel more comfortable than the present system.
Right, right, absolutely. So if I add, one point here that absolutely this NEP is going to help those students because it is going to redefine whom we call below average learners. So they may be, average learner in one aspect of learning, but they may be, extremely good learners in different aspects of learning. So it is going to give weightage to those other aspects as well. So NEP is certainly helping in that regard. And now I would request Sunita ma'am. Sunita ma'am, if I may present the next question to you. And this is a very, very interesting question. Gurvinder Kaur ji, she's a PGT mathematics from SPS International Sirsa, has asked this: how to teach maths in a fun way? that is one very particular question about math. But I also request you if you can add some 2 or 3 tricks, because we have few teachers here. How to teach anything in a fun way?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So this again goes back to a lot of homework, lot of research. How do you teach maths in the most interesting manner possible? For example, suppose you are teaching these multiplication tables. What I would do is I would find out a song which is the talk of the town now, and I will tune the multiplication tables according to the song. So what happens for the child? He is listening to a song, but for us, we know that we are making him learn the multiplication table. So, dear madam, what I have to say is this is left to our discretion, and this is where a teacher has to be creative. This is where we as teachers need to be very creative to make learning more interesting and most joyful. Yes, sir. In one word, it is left to the teacher's creativity. And that example that I said, and today we have all activity based classrooms. So if your child is interested in playing a musical instrument, but for all that, we need to take a lot of risk, because your principal might be coming on rounds, and one man on the guitar, one on the harmonium, one on the blackboard. So this is where a teacher should have a complete control over the class and then implement things. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sunita ma'am. And one very senior educator, Indrajit Singh ji, participated few sessions back. He's a former principal with Kendriya Vidyalaya Dehradun. Now he is posted at Kendriya Vidyalaya Russia. So he shared, he's a very, very education leader. He shared that we classroom. तो एक बड़ा बेसिक चीज जो हम लोग इग्नोर कर देते हैं, we must enter with a smiling face. So it's a so simple thing, and he said like most of the teachers, when they enter inside the classroom, so they don't I would say intentionally keep this in their mind that they have to enter while smiling inside the classroom. That begins the most important impact. So big thanks, Smita ma'am. I'll come back to you now. Yes, Pramod sir.
See, not only a teacher, actually principal also should be very smiling face.
Yes,
because teachers are really under stress when they come to meet principal. The first of all, the table of that principal should be neat and clean. She should, or he should keep just some magazine, and TV should be on. The person who is entering his or her office, he should felt welcome. Not that, say in Hindi देश है ना, जब आप ही थके हारे बैठे हो तो आप मेरी क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करोगे?
सर कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि अगर हर विजिटर ये फील करे कि उसको वेलकम किया जा रहा है, तो वो 2-4 डिमांड एक्स्ट्रा रख देगा.
हाँ, वो उसका प्रोरोगेटिव है. आपका प्रोरोगेटिव है डिमांड मानो नहीं मानो. Right. But it affects. Like I've retired from a very senior position in Indian Air Force, where I used to see files of maybe 500 files in 3-4 hours. But what I used to do, I used to keep all my files in
Under the table.
below the table. So my table used to be clean. Because any officer entering, if he see that Saab himself is busy signing so many files, he will not listen to me. So these are all management tricks actually. Most of the principal, even I told my deans and my director when I was vice chancellor, I used to go and visit their office. I say your office should be good, and you should be sitting in a position that anybody coming to you, you should welcome him, and keep all this stuff inside this. And why are you keeping so many PhD thesis inside your cupboard? Just keep it in library. It should be free. You should be watching TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Thank you.
because teachers are under stress.
Absolutely.
They are under stress.
Yes, they are always under stress.
Yes.
They have full occupied home responsibilities, and in the school they have a lot of responsibilities. And this pandemic period has, I would say, multiplied those challenges
Yes.
to those teachers. So teachers are truly the other, I would say, corona warriors apart from those health workers and police and teachers. So now I would request Puneet sir, I have already posted the question in the chat box. Meera Srivastava ji, principal, Takshila Public School, Delhi. She has asked this question: assessment of skill subjects, which are going to be introduced, 6th class onwards, to be done by teachers who are not trained for that particular skill. So, how to hire teachers for various skills by schools for 6th to 10th class students. The student can visit places outside to learn various skills such as carpenter workshop or bakery or parlor. But whether their learning is up to the level, who is going to assess that? Do you think it would be a challenging aspect?
Meera ma'am, already I think I spoke on the same thing, because what assessment criteria and examination criteria has been mentioned in this document, we need to a lot of homework on this. Exactly until or unless we do not get the final draft, the different assessment areas, rubrics, and what kind of assessment grading will be there, who will be assessing, still nothing is cleared in this document. They have only mentioned that they will be assessing the skills, they will be providing platforms for skill development, but how they are going to rate, how they are going to assess, how they are going to grade, that grading criteria, rubrics on which they will be assessed, still it needs to be defined, and still the I think NCF and NCRT is working in this area. We have to wait, because I hope very soon they will be releasing one more document where they will be mentioning all these details, how we are going to assess, what particular skills we are going to assess, and what will be the criteria for its assessment. And definitely, as I mentioned, until or unless the higher authorities are not going for training of teachers, for setting rubrics, defining the skills, and completely understanding the grading criteria, definitely it is going to be a great challenge for all of us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Puneet sir, for that. So with this, we come to the end of this very, very special 147th session of Leadership Talks. Big thanks to all of you. But before we end the session, I would request you all, if we can have your concluding remark. And we have also established one very interesting practice, that while sharing your concluding remark, if you can also suggest one idea that you would like to execute as a priority if you get a chance to become Union Minister of Education for one day. So what would be your priority, what you would like to execute during that one day of ministership? So I would request Sunita ma'am, if we may begin with you, if I may request you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Union Minister of Education?
I think the same only. I will do what has come out, is a beautiful document. So the only thing is how we are going to implement it. So there, the teachers need a lot of training. So that part of it, I will assign proper people to give proper training to the teachers, and that process of as far as I'm concerned, will keep happening, so that the teachers are still enthusiastic and ready to do this. And as a part of this concluding note, you see, today when we go to a market, suppose you are going to buy a pot, it's made of clay, right? But what we do, I do generally, I look, I turn it upside down, I turn it downside up, I look under it, I look over it, and ensure that the pot is worthy enough for the money I give. Yeah. In such a situation, when we are sending our children to lead the future, don't you think it's very much important for us to be even more keen and committed and dedicated, so that, you know, the children who go out from us are promising people for the country, for the society, and for the world. So what I have to say in one word is commitment, dedication, determination to get this implemented.
Absolutely, absolutely. Big thanks, Sunita ma'am, for that and for sharing that wonderful example.
Thank
So
you.
big thanks for joining and your participation. Now I would request Puneet sir, sir, if I may request you for your concluding remark, and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become youngest education minister of India?
Yeah. Thanks for this youngest minister, education minister compliment. See, what I say and what I feel, people who have achieved great success are not necessarily more intelligent or skillful than others. What segregates them is their burning desire and thirst for knowledge. The more one knows, the more one achieves. My theory is very clear that no one is perfect and no one is complete. We are learner and we should learn every day, every minute, and everywhere. I recall, I'm huge fan of Three Idiots. वो आमिर खान का वो डायलॉग अभी तक मेरे को याद आता है, एक अच्छे स्कूल के लिए फीस की जरूरत नहीं होती, यूनिफॉर्म की जरूरत पड़ती है। और स्कूल में नॉलेज इस क्लासरूम में भी मिलता है, दूसरे में मिलता है, आप लेने वाले बन जाओ। Means what, being an education minister, if I get this opportunity to serve as education minister, I would like to come up with an idea where I would not limit the learning and teaching within the classroom. I want it everywhere. If you are in the market, if you are in the farm, if you are driving a car, I just want to relate, ma'am, although she is my one of my PGT, Gurvinder Kaur asked and Sandhya ma'am replied to that answer, how to make mathematics more fruitful, enjoyable. I usually say, my teachers and most of the math teachers, when they start teaching how to calculate the speed of a vehicle if it is moving but this much distance in this much time. So we are trying to do that on board. Why we are doing that? You just give him this exercise today when you are moving back to your home through bus. You note down the time, you know the distance, and calculate the speed at home. You are on the road. You are observing what is happening there. So means learning should go constantly throughout 24/7, not in the class. We are doing this mistake when we are constraining the learning and teaching within the classroom. Because one of my friend, he did his MBBS from India and now he's serving in Australia. He said, when I joined Australia and I started my practice, for 3 months, these people trained me for every household work. He taught him how to deal with electrical equipments, how to handle his sanitation, how to handle his sanitary equipments, how to do carpentry in his house. This is what. And what we are trying that we have to teach everything within 6 hours within the classroom. So this is completely mismatch. I think we need to correlate teaching and learning everywhere, 24/7, all the time. This is what I want. I think this is going to help the country as a whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Big thanks, Puneet sir, for that and for your participation. And now I would request Rajkumar sir, sir, if we have your presence, can we have your concluding remark and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become a Union Minister of Education? Rajkumar sir.
Thanks for the compliment, first of all. And I must suggest that I will bring elementary education on one platform, either on government or on private sector. This is the thing, because if the foundation years are very good and very strong for each and every child, I think so they can do wonders in their life. So this is my dream, basically, to bring at least elementary education on one platform. That these are the remarks I would like to share with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So give importance to elementary education. Big thanks, Rajkumar sir, for your remarks and for your participation. And now I would request Pramod sir, sir, we would like to close the session with your remarks. So can we have your concluding remark and what would be your priority if you get a chance to become Minister of Education?
Okay, on a lighter side, even if I had been given a chance to become a leader or neta, I would politely refuse. But anyway, you are giving me chance to. So my first priority will be stopping commercialization of education, because this commercialization of education is really bad. Maybe restricted commercialization is okay, but the way the colleges are mushrooming is not good for the country, because the education standard is going down. Now, I would like to start a university only for training of teachers. Like we have a organization called National Technical Teachers Training School, NITT, something like that. Like for schooling, you have a system of B.Ed, but for higher education, there is nothing for like
There
a
is no
training.
body which look after training. Yes.
Pardon?
There is no particular body which look after teacher training for especially in technical
Correct.
education.
Like I am ex-IITian. All the faculty members, they were all dedicated, but they were not trained.
Yeah.
They were dedicated because they wanted to become professor. And then teaching is an art. You may be very knowledgeable, but if you are not able to express, then you are a useless teacher.
Right.
And if you go to the class, you have to come down to the level of a student and the last student,
Exactly.
not the topper one. During one of my interaction with Dr. Abdul Kalam, he said the toppers will not be in India. They will look after themselves. And the real India is in the backbenchers. So we have to look after
Exactly.
them. They will remain here. One of them will become some scientist. One of them will become a good sports person. And they are the one who is going to keep this India going up and make this India as a powerful country. Whereas those toppers, they will be missing here. So as a teacher, we have to look after them. Somebody said that some lower performance or some terminology somebody used, underperformance in the class. How do we deal with the underperformance? See, as far as I'm concerned, all are required in a classroom. In sometimes you will find they will become some minister, and the toppers will be working under them. So if I become a minister, the first is I will restrict commercialization of education, and I would like to have a training center for all the teachers, especially in higher education. And this new policy is going to be implemented, though they have given time period from 2035. And it is a challenge to all of us how to implement this. And then I always tell everybody that whatever is under your control, let's bring the change. Whom you are waiting for? Whatever you can change in a little way, please change it. Don't wait for some instruction to come from a higher education department or some central government. Do it whatever is under your control. At least you bring the change. If all of us we bring small changes, then cumulative effect will be very good. And thank you very much for giving this platform to all of us. And I'm thankful to all of you. And you have refreshed my memories of school days. At least now I know what is going on in school. because I am totally cut off with school education. Whatever I know, little bit of is only higher education. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Pramod sir, for that. And big thanks once again to all of you, Pramod sir, Rajkumar sir, Sunita ma'am, Puneet sir, and other participants for joining us and being with us. Big thanks for making this 147th session at Leadership Talk truly special. Thank you all. We'll end the session here. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
once
you.
again. Thank you.